It was supposed to be just a normal Instagram live video, but what happened shocked everyone. Nicole Kidman was streaming live in front of millions of people. Suddenly, she got really upset. For the first time ever, she talked directly to her husband Keith Urban about their marriage ending. Her voice was shaky, and you could see she was hurting. She asked him why he left after almost 20 years together. Within minutes, videos of the live stream were everywhere. People on Twitter and TikTok started using hashtags like Team Nicole and Urban Divorce. For almost 20 years, Nicole and Keith seemed like the perfect couple. They were Hollywood's favorite love story. Everyone thought their romance would last forever. But then everything fell apart right in front of our eyes. News reports confirmed what fans couldn't believe: they were getting divorced. This wasn't just another celebrity breakup. It felt like something really special had been broken. Fans were so shocked that some even compared it to a national disaster. People said Keith was throwing away the best thing that ever happened to him. The whole world watched the fight happen live online. Everyone wanted to know, how did this perfect marriage fall apart so badly and so publicly? To understand what happened, we need to go back to the beginning, back to when their love story started. How it all started. Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban met in January 2005 at a fancy party in Los Angeles. Nicole was already a famous actress who had won big awards. She had just gone through a painful divorce from Tom Cruise. Keith was a country music singer whose career was taking off. From the outside, it looked like they were meant to be together, but there were already problems. Keith later said he felt like he wasn't good enough for Nicole from the very start. He felt like she was a princess and he didn't deserve her. That feeling of not being good enough would keep coming back over the years. Still, they fell in love fast. On June 25, 2006, they got married in Sydney, Australia. The wedding was beautiful. Nicole wore a gorgeous designer dress, Keith sang her a special song, and famous people like Hugh Jackman came to celebrate with them. To everyone watching, it looked like the perfect happy ending, two Australian superstars finding true love. But what looked perfect in 2006 would start falling apart within just a few months. The first big problem. Only 4 months after their beautiful wedding, serious problems started. Keith had struggled with alcohol and drugs before. During their romance, he had kept it under control. But now it came back, and it came back hard. By October 2006, Keith had to go to a special hospital called the Betty Ford Clinic for 3 months to get help. His wife of only 4 months had to deal with their marriage problems all alone while everyone watched. Nicole didn't give up on him. Instead, she gathered friends and family to help Keith face his problems. Keith later said that Nicole's decision to help him might have saved his life. He said, "4 months into our marriage, I had to go away for 3 months to get help. Nicole pushed through all the bad stuff and chose to love me anyway." From the outside, this looked like a great story about a wife standing by her husband and helping him get better. But people close to them now think this early problem might have set up a bad pattern. Nicole became the person who saves, and Keith became the person who needs saving. That can bring people closer at first, but over time, it can hurt a marriage. What started as a fairy tale was already turning into something harder. And as both of them went back to their careers, being apart and dealing with fame would make things even worse. Their jobs pulled them apart. For a while, it seemed like Nicole and Keith had gotten through the tough times. Keith got sober and was thankful. Nicole stood proudly next to him at every big event. Together, they became Hollywood's golden couple. They showed up at fancy parties, holding hands and smiling like nothing could break them apart. But behind all those happy pictures was a harder truth, one that would slowly damage their marriage year after year. The problem wasn't that they didn't love each other. The problem was they had no time together. Nicole's acting career took her all over the world. She'd be filming in Europe 1 month and America the next. She loved making movies so much that she rarely said no to roles. This meant she'd spend months filming far away from home. At the same time, Keith's music career was doing really well. His concert tour went all around the world. Sometimes he'd be gone for half the year. They tried to stay connected through phone calls, video chats, and planning times to meet up. But the truth was hard to ignore. They were living separate lives. The world saw glamour and hand-holding at parties and sweet posts on Instagram. But when the cameras went away, the reality was two people who spent more nights apart than together. Even their close friends started noticing the problem. Friends said they were like ships passing in the night, meaning they barely saw each other. People close to the couple told magazines that their crazy schedules caused a lot of fighting. The same success that brought them together, the music, the movies, the fame, was slowly becoming the thing that kept them apart. And soon, their careers would create a new problem that made headlines everywhere. Nicole's new movie roles. By 2024, Nicole Kidman's career changed in a big way. While many actresses her age start taking easier, safer roles, Nicole did the opposite. She chose movies that pushed limits, films like Baby Girl and A Family Affair. In these movies, she played characters with deep emotions and intimate scenes. Critics loved her work and said she was still one of the bravest actresses in Hollywood. But at home, these roles created serious problems. Reports started coming out that Keith Urban was really uncomfortable with Nicole's movie scenes. While Nicole saw these roles as art, a chance to challenge herself and break stereotypes, Keith reportedly had a hard time with it. He struggled seeing his wife in those kinds of scenes. The breaking point might have happened during a radio interview in July 2024. When someone asked Keith about Nicole's intimate scenes in her movies, Keith suddenly ended the interview. His reaction shocked fans. Many people saw it as a clear sign that their private problems were becoming public. Some people said Keith was being controlling and couldn't handle Nicole's independence. Others said his feelings made sense, that anyone would feel weird about their spouse doing intimate scenes in movies, no matter how professional. Whatever the truth was, one thing was clear. Nicole's decision to put her art first added more weight to a marriage that was already struggling from being apart so much. The same bravery that kept her at the top of Hollywood was slowly creating distance between her and the man who once called her his anchor. By summer 2025, that distance had become too big to ignore. Signs they were splitting up. By summer 2025, it wasn't just rumors anymore. You could actually see they were separating. Nicole Kidman was living in London while filming a movie called Practical Magic 2. She was renting a huge mansion that cost almost $65,000 every month. Keith Urban had moved into his own house in Nashville, away from their family home. Friends said this was the turning point, the moment when it became clear they weren't just busy, they were living completely separate lives. Social media showed even more clues. On June 25, 2025, Nicole posted a sweet anniversary message on Instagram. She shared a black and white photo of her and Keith cuddling with the words, "Happy anniversary, baby." Fans flooded the comments saying congratulations, thinking everything was fine. But many people didn't notice something important. Keith said nothing. Unlike other years when he posted his own sweet messages, this time he stayed silent. Then came their last time together in public. June 20, 2025, at a soccer match in Nashville. At first, they looked like the perfect couple, smiling for cameras and seeming happy. But experts who study body language quickly pointed out warning signs. They barely looked at each other, Nicole was doing nervous movements, and Keith seemed distant. These weren't big, dramatic fights. They were quiet signs of two people drifting apart. By August, the signs were impossible to miss. Nicole posted summer memories on Instagram with photos of her daughters, family gatherings, and London adventures, but not a single mention or photo of Keith. For fans who had followed their love story for almost 20 years, leaving him out was huge. According to magazines, Keith's decision to move into his own Nashville house confirmed what Nicole hadn't accepted yet. The marriage was already ending. When Nicole finally confronted Keith on Instagram Live, fans connected all the dots: the separate homes, the silent anniversary, the awkward soccer game. The signs had been there, but the confrontation made it impossible to deny. The fairy tale had gone quiet, replaced by silence, distance, and unspoken truths that the world was just beginning to see. How they felt. When news of the separation finally came out, Nicole Kidman was reportedly shocked and heartbroken. After almost 20 years of marriage, she still believed there was something left to save. Friends said she spent a lot of time with her daughters, Sunday Rose, 17, and Faith Margaret, 14, throughout the summer. They were inseparable. Her sister Antonia was also always there, giving Nicole family support while her marriage fell apart. But while Nicole held on to hope, Keith Urban seemed to have already moved on emotionally. People close to them told magazines that Keith wasn't happy in the marriage and chose to mow V out. For Nicole, this wasn't just a separation. It was a painful discovery that the man she had supported through addiction, success, and struggles had emotionally left before she even saw it happening. The public's reaction was fast and intense. On Twitter, fans expressed heartbreak and anger. Some blamed Keith for throwing away the best thing to ever happen to him. Others went even further. One popular post compared the breakup to Australia's 9/11. But nothing was like the Instagram Live itself, Nicole's voice breaking as she confronted Keith in real time. For millions watching, it wasn't just gossip anymore. It was raw, public heartbreak. For Nicole, the fallout was more than just headlines. It was a public breaking apart of her private pain. She wasn't only sad about losing her marriage. She was also dealing with her mother dying recently and the heavy weight of newspapers talking about every detail. For Keith, the emotional work seemed already done. He was moving forward, while Nicole was left picking up the pieces. Comparing to other celebrity breakups. No Hollywood breakup happens alone. The moment Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's separation became public, people started comparing it to other celebrity splits. The first comparison was Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Their marriage ended in 2016 with a bitter, years-long court battle with custody fights and abuse accusations. Compared to that, Nicole and Keith's split looks almost calm. There are no cheating accusations, no courtroom drama, at least not yet. What we see instead is a slow falling apart, caused not by betrayal but by distance, exhaustion, and lives going in different directions. Others compared it to Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin's conscious uncoupling. Like them, Kidman and Urban seem to be handling things maturely and respectfully, putting their daughters first and avoiding public fighting. But there's one big difference. Gwyneth and Chris both chose to split up together. Nicole didn't. People close to them confirm she was still fighting for her marriage while Keith had emotionally checked out months earlier. And then there's the sad shadow of Nicole's first big heartbreak, her divorce from Tom Cruise in 2001. That breakup completely blindsided her. Nicole has openly said she never saw it coming, describing it as a shock to her system that left her reeling. 20 years later, history seems to be repeating itself. After giving everything to a relationship she believed would last, Nicole finds herself blindsided again, this time by a man she once thought was her true soulmate. It's a cruel pattern that fans can't help but notice. For Nicole, the theme is heartbreakingly personal. Twice now, she's poured her heart into love stories that ended not with betrayal, but with sudden, devastating silence. Money, family, and what happens next? Beyond the heartbreak is a huge fortune and a family caught in the middle. Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's combined money is over $325 million. They own houses everywhere, from a $4 million mansion in Nashville to a $16 million penthouse in Sydney. These aren't just properties, they're the places where their family memories were made. Now, each home might become just another thing to divide up. At the center of everything are their daughters, Sunday Rose, 17, and Faith Margaret, 14. Court papers show Nicole is the main parent, with the girls spending most of their time with her, about 306 days a year compared to 59 days with Keith. In a surprising twist, both agreed to $0 in child support and no spousal support. On paper, this looks clean and fair. But emotionally, it's a stark reminder that even wealth and fame can't make a family dividing up hurt any less. Despite all the paperwork and pain, one question remains. Can they still get back together? As of late September 2025, no official divorce has been finalized. Some insiders say the love between them hasn't completely died, pointing out that Nicole is still fighting to save the marriage. Others argue the split is too one-sided, with Keith already having moved on emotionally. Nicole's choice to go public on Instagram Live showed that imbalance. Was it a desperate last try to pull Keith back, or a way of telling the world she was ready to let go? For fans, the uncertainty keeps hope alive. If this couple, who survived addiction, distance, and almost 20 years in the spotlight, could find a way back to each other, it would be one of Hollywood's greatest comeback stories. But if they can't, then Nicole and Keith's separation will stand as a warning. Even the strongest love, when tested by fame, distance, and time, can finally reach its breaking point. The bottom line: Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's story was one the world desperately wanted to believe in. For almost 20 years, they seemed untouchable, a couple who survived addiction, fame, and distance. But their split shows that even the deepest love can break under constant pressure. And like the explosive breakups of Brad and Angelina or the calm split of Gwyneth and Chris Martin, this ending was quieter, yet somehow more heartbreaking. One person held on while the other had already let go. And for Nicole, history repeated itself. Just like with Tom Cruise, she was blindsided again. But what makes this heartbreak different is how it happened. Not in secret, but on Instagram Live, where millions watched as Nicole confronted Keith directly. That moment wasn't just a celebrity meltdown. It was raw, real pain that fans weren't supposed to see. And in many ways, it showed the final collapse of a love story that had already been fading behind closed doors. Nicole is devastated but determined, still fighting to protect her family. Keith appears to have moved forward, even performing on stage without his wedding ring. Two lives, once connected, now pulling apart while the whole world watches. For fans, the Instagram Live confrontation will always be remembered as the defining moment of their breakup, the moment the fairy tale officially ended. And maybe that's the lesson. No matter how glamorous the love story, when it falls apart, the pain is just as real and human as anyone else's. So the question remains: was Nicole's public confrontation a final cry to save their marriage, or was it her way of telling the world, "This chapter is closed.